What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Guitar Corner. This is not any specific song I'm playing, but you may already know who we're talking about today just hearing this. Willie Nelson. We're going to talk about Willie Nelson today, the redheaded stranger from Blue Rock, Montana. I'm going up to Montana here in just a little bit with my wife. First time we've been able to see her family in forever. So I got my Willie Nelson playlist ready to go. And I'm not plugged in today. I'm just because I didn't even want to cut a hole in this. This is my first guitar I ever bought. $90 at Starkey Music, Wichita, Kansas, way back in the day. This is probably, I didn't realize this till I grew up a little bit. This is probably me chasing Willie's guitar, Trigger. It was Roy Rogers' horse Willie named his guitar after. Any of you guitar players know Trigger. It's just like B.B. King's Lucille. It's one of these guitars that's been through music history and given us entire worlds. I am such a Willie Nelson fan, it makes no sense. If you can see my studio, we'll do a tour sometime. I got a Willie holding Trigger and his freaking knotted, perfect, beautiful, wrinkled hands, a million notes that come out of those things, a million songs out of his heart, a million wonderful ideas bringing people together. I have a poster of him and it just hangs above where I mix. I can't say enough about him, so I'm gonna jam a little bit and we'll talk about what I'm playing, and then I'm gonna do a little show and tell you some Willie Nelson stories. Yeah, it's exciting. Here's those dyads we did in the other one. And then he's just, a lot of times he'll just do thirds. We'll get into those passing chords another time too, because you can bring a lot of those cowboy chords together with those little passing chords. But yeah, let's get lost in it for a second. Here we go. Yeah, buddy. Okay, so I don't get in trouble with YouTube, so I'm not playing you a specific Willie Nelson anything, and I appreciate that YouTube does that. I get to make my living off of some licensing stuff and music I do out there, and it's good that they're keeping track of where things are at, because our writers and different people had to get paid in order to keep doing this, you fine people. But I'm just kind of in the style of this. Most of what I just did for you there is just E major, the cowboy chords, A major. Now we go to some bar chords, B, D flat minor. So we're in E major. If you know a little bit of theory, the relative major, the relative minor, that means the notes are the same in E major as they are in D flat minor. And that way, once you know the notes on the fretboard or the modes, you can play those. You can play those harmonies. You can play the little dyads, and then running some of the just little pentatonic blues riffs. And we went up here, which would be Aeolian mode, so like a minor scale. But the key to Willie's playing, the key to, I think what I've hopefully picked up a tiny bit of since I was a little kid, was to be trying to sing when you're playing. not just playing for note's sake, but trying to really, push something out of there. The cool thing about this old guitar, like I said, $90. What's crazy is you can hear it when I play it. The harmonics are still ringing through this thing. It's like a fine wine, man. It's aging well, so. You can really hear those harmonics rolling through there. I think this is another reason I wanted to talk about Mr. Nelson today. I saw a thing, he was down where he's from down in Texas. He played a rally at the Poor People's Campaign yesterday. 88 years old, still doing it. Obviously, it's slowed down a little bit, but man, back in his heyday, I don't think people understand, 300 shows a year forever, kept that family together forever. Just put out another book with his sister Bobby. She's 90, he's 88. They have given us so many decades of music and shows. And he was influenced by Django Reinhardt. There's a lot of stunning playing, even some jazz playing, some really incredible stuff. I'm gonna do a little show and tell here. I want to show you a few things, some of my prized Willie Nelson possessions. I'm gonna show you some vinyl that I had when I was a little kid, man. Ypsilanti, Michigan, outside of Detroit. My mom would play those old Willie and Waylon records, and there was a period in the 80s that a lot of those records were cut at Chips Moman Studios. I joke, I call this place in Nashville, I'm like, this is my Chips Moman sound, because right before country got really poppy in the 90s, there was a cool moment in between some of the old school country and when it just got a little bit of gloss. And I think those are some of the warmest, coolest, a lot of beauty and simplicity in those records. One of them was Always on My Mind. Man, we played the heck out of this thing. And I brought found this a few years back and bought it on the road. But let me show you part of the reason why I'm so crazy about Willie Nelson. How do you go from this? And he says in his bios, I've read all his books, he was chasing, he was trying to become something else, trying to do what Nashville wanted. How do you get from this to this in just a few years? And please understand, this is the middle of the 80s. My man was already looking a little bit older. And he was just getting warmed up. Started playing arenas in his 40s. Didn't break till he was like 39, 40 years old. But what's crazy about it is he put out 7 records in 1982. 7 records of stuff with Merle Haggard. Like once the dam broke, he tried to bring along everybody with him. And I know the record labels probably hated it, but it was all about music. He's made 250 records. It was just all about living and breathing music and the heart and the soul. Actually, speaking of the record labels, to tell you Willie Nelson joke, he's also full of great jokes. And this is messed up. You're gonna love this. What's a record executive and a sperm have in common? They both have about 1 in a million chance of becoming a human being. See, you could stick anybody in that joke you're trying to mess with. But all his books are like that. They're just fun. He's got a book called The Tao of Willie, and it's just him talking about breathing and being kind to one another and listening to your heart. And if something doesn't sound right to you, it's probably not right. And the hardest thing to do is to try to be somebody else. I mean, all this wisdom that may seem like this really, simple wisdom on the face of it, but it's just it's just beautiful and incredible. My pops built me I don't know if anybody remembers. I know there's still some Radio Shacks, but there was a thing back in the day called a Heath kit, and you could get these like parts, these transistors and stuff. And my dad built this little pirate radio thing. It would only go a few watts, but it was like a pirate radio station. And so I could put on like one of my Willie cassettes or Waylon or of course Kiss, and I could play it, and I could go across the street to my friend Jason Melton's house and kick the soccer ball and be listening to our little radio station. So I'd jump on there and be like, "What's happening, everybody?" I used to actually go and try to win other radio station stuff, like bumper stickers and things, and I would announce to the apartment building across the street from us, I've got a giveaway coming up. Let's try to pretend I was a DJ like my dad, and I would give them the other radio station stuff. But we used to play so much Willie on there. I do remember one time I got in a lot of trouble. I got on there and I said, "Tornado warning for Washtenaw County," and my dad ripped that mic out of my hand. He's like, "Son, we could have a lot of fun on here, but that is called an FCC violation. You will not be talking about fake bad weather on our pirate radio station." So I'm sure Willie's built into the blood here. My band got to meet him down in the road at Carl's Corner when we were playing down in Texas. I was at a Kinko's. They just went over there to hang out and didn't know he was in there playing a poker game. And of course, they told me what anybody I've met who's met Willie said. He is like, it's like looking through all the time, man. He looks right into your soul and is just as kind as can be. Shout out to Sharon Jennings. She said he would rip off his bandana, gave it to her. I've heard he's done that with a lot of people. I can't tell you how many times I've checked into a two-bit motel in the middle of the night. It's a couple times this happened out in Arizona, and you see a signed picture of Willie, or I'm playing him on the phone or something. Willie comes up, and I tell you, Willie Nelson fans, they've all got a story of their Willie sighting and they're meeting him. I've never heard a bad one. It's one of the few times I really believe that man might have been kind to every single person he's met along the way. So if you got any Willie Nelson stories, I want them. I would love for you to hit me in the comments. I want more than anything. He's going to live forever, just like Keith, but I want more than anything to get to meet that man before I go. My friends at Mickey and the Motorcars, man, wonderful touring band, hardworking band. Mickey was actually named after Mickey Raphael, who's been the harmonica player with Willie, forever. Okay, one more here. Let's show you one more thing. This has probably affected me as much as anything. Oh, there's the last Willie book. He just wrote it, Letters to America. It's freaking awesome. I don't work for Willie Nelson. I know you probably think I do. I'm not getting a cut of this. This man will make our hearts and souls right. I'm telling you, man. We could all be a little more like Willie. I certainly should be aspiring to be more like this man. The Electric Horseman. Now, I know this is a sleeper. Not everybody saw this one. Poor Erin O'Neill. I drove her crazy and Rose like, you got to watch it. I was like, you got young Robert Redford. You'll be fine. You got to watch this thing. Willie's up in the corner. He was supposed to just be hanging out, just have a little cameo in this. But he kind of half stole the picture. So they let him do all these ad-lib lines. Sidney Pollack, incredible director. Done some of my favorite stuff. He was on an airplane with Willie traveling in the 80s. And he said, we're going to need a song for this film. And he told him about it. And Willie literally writes down on a napkin, on the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again, making music with my friends on the road again. And Sidney's like, man, I don't know. That's it. And Willie's like, no, just trust me. I got a melody. I got it. Man, he's opened up and closed his shows for 40 years with that jam. But this movie's so heavy to me because I didn't realize what it was teaching me when I was little. But this movie talked about being kind to animals because they got to steal that horse out of Vegas away from this big corporation. Rising Star is the name of the horse. I named one of my guitars Rising Star. Yeah, I'm way deep into this crazy movie. But Willie steals his show, and let me read these. I'll let y'all go here. I'm going to get some comments on this one. Y'all either going to be like, man, I'm a Willie fan, or teach me something on guitar on the Guitar Corner. What's wrong with you? Man, check this track list out. Midnight Rider, Allman Brothers. Freaking incredible. My heroes have always been cowboys. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. That is a jam. There's so many wonderful things on here. But the kindness, man, the soul, the getting a couple notes to mean something. Sometimes just breathing and getting back to who we are. I forget all the time. Right now, what am I doing? I'm spending my day playing guitar and talking to you fine people. How hard are our lives if you've got time to listen to me rant and I've got time to hang out with you? But I forget that. I constantly forget how lucky we are, how grateful I should be. Even with crazy stuff going on, we all got stuff. There's so much pain in this world. But if we can get back down to how beautiful these guitars are and some music and some friendship, and we're gonna get through this thing. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I love y'all. Leave some comments, subscribe, hit the bell. I'll see you next time.